All right. Good morning, everybody. Happy Wednesday, middle of the week. Welcome to today's Microsoft Flight Simulator live stream. We're continuing. This is the third leg of our journey, going to to Indonesia, the former Dutch East Indies, in the Fokker F.VIIb KLM livery. Hello, Joseph. And it's going to be a bit of a long one today, about a 3-hour flight. Our longest part of the trip is going to be between our waypoint VLM and NIT, about 145 nautical miles for that part of this flight. So we will get in there, get things started, but beforehand, please pay attention to the following announcement. International streaming rules and regulations require me to provide the following information. I am on the Xbox Series S. I have the deluxe version of Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. We are currently flying the Fokker F.VIIb 3M-Retrofit. We are departing from Prague and we are headed to Budapest. I am not taking requests for flights. My flight schedule was created well in advance and is subject to change based on my real-life schedule, or in the case of yesterday, the sim update. I wanted to make sure that everything was going to be fine. Mondays, Wednesdays, and eventually Fridays are vintage aviation flights. Tuesdays are jetliner and regional jet flights. Thursdays, military aviation flights. Saturday are flights featuring the P-38. We call it Lightning Saturdays. Sundays are our scenic flights. We just find a nice place around the world to fly. Any other information can be found in the description area below the video. Thank you. All right, let's get in here and get things started up. Hopefully everybody's having a good day. Let's get our stuff on here. Hello, Mela. I'm good, Joseph. Thank you. Yeah, when I realized late Monday that the sim update was coming out Tuesday morning, I was like, I don't want to be flying and then we get the update and all that, and it gets, you know. So anyway, let's get that on. Right, engines are all started up. All right, let's have a look at our so 1260 is right near the airport. I'll catch up in the chat here in just a moment. And then we want to dial in our next one, which is 1430. So change to 113, it should be 114. Alright, there we go. Is that done? Alright. Sent your Xbox back for repair. Wow. That sucks. Alright, let's call for... Oh, why am I... Let's see... Let's depart straight out. Oh. Military... Millibro. Broy. Oh, sorry. Millibroy. Hello. Runway 12 should be down there. Let's go over. Oh, there goes the lines. Oops, sending this all over the place. Okay. Well, that's odd that it's doing that. I mean, it's fairly... I think you have an Xbox Series X, don't you, Amela? You can't have had it for that long to be able... or for that to be a problem. You never know. Oh, that was the red ring of death. Yeah, I remember that the older Xbox had that. The newer ones I don't think ever have the red Series S. Okay. Yeah, I know the older 360s had the red ring of death, which meant you had to ship it back to... Hello, Chris. Ship it back to... Microsoft for repair or replacement. But yeah, the S hasn't been out that long. Only got it in July, yeah, so almost a year, not even a year yet. But yeah, that's pretty sad if it's already having issues. Less than a year into the, or you know, roughly almost a year into the you having it. I think somebody that flies with Captain Arish, he was talking about he had to send his Series S in, or I think it was either Series S or Series X. He had to send it in for repair as well. Last time, of course, we had still under warranty. Good. But then you got to get it and download your whole account back on there again, and you know, get it set back up again. That's including all the updates and all kinds of stuff. So last time we flew this on Monday, and I do apologize for not streaming yesterday. When I saw that the sim update was coming out, I didn't want to chance any kind of issues with the with that, you know, pending release and whatnot. So I just thought, you know, we'll go ahead and just, you know, not fly just to be safe. Yeah, we had it last time we flew on Monday. We had a really good landing with this. Yeah, and all. Oh yeah, and then you got to download all that again, and yeah, that's going to take a while. Now that's one of the things that they did fix with this sim update is they've changed the voices, so it's a lot clearer. It's a little bit slower, so that if you have trouble understanding English, or or you don't understand the directions, it's like it's a little bit easier to understand. So yeah, I think that worked out very well. $25, yeah. Well, yeah, but you just took it to a local shop, Joseph. You didn't have to worry about shipping it. All right, let's go. Away we go. Go ahead and start turning now. We need to do that. And away we go. Budapest, here we come. Yes, Amila, I had roast chicken soup for dinner last night. The roast chicken with vegetables. What do you call it? The Campbell's, the meal in a can. It has the chicken and it's got vegetables. I probably don't eat enough vegetables, quite honestly. Something I think Doris hopes to rectify someday. Let's go ahead and swap that frequency. Next one, 430, and we want to pick up a heading of 123. Turning back, we're not going. Wow, there's a lot of wind today. Only one, yeah, only one can. I can't have. I tried two before, and it's just too much. Right, our first run is only 39 nautical miles, so this won't take too long to do. But then we have 145 nautical miles and 70 nautical miles, and we'll be in Budapest. There's a lot of flying ahead of us today. Those are the my dad sent them. You can get them on Amazon. You can get like a whole 12 cans, like a little box. or you can order more than that. But I think the small, you can get 3 cans or what, like they have different sizes for their boxes that you can, they'll put it like in a flat thing and then put the wrap over it, and then they'll put it in another box and ship it. Hello, Patrice. Hello, Mick. So yeah, that's what. But the problem is on Amazon, they're very short stock, so you have to like check every so often, every day, in order to get what you want. So I'll go outside here. I'm trying to get us back on track a little bit more. We took a very wide turn out of the airport, and it seems like there's a wind coming that's pushing us back to the right. So it seems like everybody took yesterday off. I know Mick, he doesn't usually stream on Tuesdays. Pulse didn't stream yesterday, so I think everybody had a little bit of a break. Except for maybe Mr. Addy's, I don't know. Yeah, there's that strange wind keeps trying to push us off track there. Oh, Joseph, come on. Mick will say hi to you when he has a... Just, my goodness, young man, you need to calm down sometimes. Language is worse than mine on FIFA. You said, what about... Well, what about you? Yeah, just calm down sometimes. You gotta just... Mick will answer you when he has a moment. Well, thank you. I have 6 viewers in. Very nice. Appreciate that. The 2 thumbs up so far. Greatly appreciate that as well. So we are on our way to Budapest. This is a 32-leg journey. This is our leg 3 of our 32-leg flight, going to the former Dutch East Indies, what is now Indonesia. This was a service that KLM did provide back in the 30s, taking business people from Holland to from Amsterdam to the former Dutch East Indies when it was a Dutch colony. So now they didn't fly it in 32 legs. They would do so many flights during the day, from sun up to just before sundown. They would land somewhere and then they would stop for the night and then proceed the next day. So it took them about 7 days, I think, to get there. But it's going to take us some time. Put anything with cloud. Let me look at the weather, because I'm positive I just put a few clouds. Not, yeah. I don't know why there's this like massive wind right now. Oh, all right. I gotta change my batteries too. Alright, I'm going to change batteries real quick. Alright, I'm back. So we'll be back tomorrow in the F-14. We are doing our flight from Moffett to Homey, to the mythical area. So hopefully it will be a nice flight. Shouldn't take very long to get from Moffett to Homey. And then we will be back on Friday with our flight going from Colorado Springs to Pittsburgh International. That will be kind of a bit of a longish flight. Let's go ahead and dial in our next one is 116. Perfect. Yeah, Joseph, you know, if a game makes you that wound up, why go back to it? That's the thing I don't understand. Like, you know, if it upsets you that much, why do you give it any time at all? I mean, it's not like you're going to suddenly log in today and the game's going to be phenomenally better. I mean, I don't. That's just. I don't get it. I mean, if a game upsets me, I'm just like, I'm just going to walk away from it because I can't do it. You know, it's just not healthy. To each their own, but I don't quite understand the mindset. All right, let's just get out here and get a picture real quick before I forget. I think maybe we'll try taking one once we get to Budapest. It'll be if we have another nice sort of, if we have a decent landing again, then we'll get a flight. Well, I know you never give up, but it's like, it's not, you're so angry about it though. That's the thing. It's like there's the old saying, you're drinking the poison and expecting the other person to be affected by it. You're drinking the poison and expecting FIFA to change. You know, it's not healthy. Like I said, to each their own. I can appreciate that you don't want to give up, but there comes a point that your health is more important than trying to beat a game that is got so many flaws in it. I don't know where this wind's coming from. Okay, take care, Milla. Thanks for stopping by before you gotta go. Well, I know you can, but it's like it's emotional roller coaster, right? You win a couple games, you're like, okay, finally things are turning, and then all of a sudden you just get a string of losses, and you're just like, you know, it's not healthy. It really, but that's my opinion. Do what you gotta do, but I'm just saying from experience, it's not a very, very healthy thing. Gritting your teeth and just, you know, I don't like getting like that. It sucks. There's no enjoyment in that. But anyways, I've said my piece. Anywho, alright, so we should be pretty soon coming up to our first waypoint, first navigation point, VLM, and then we're going to turn for 145 nautical miles. That's going to be the biggest chunk of our flight today. I don't understand, like, a few clouds, just, normally there isn't this much wind that is trying to push us off. I don't know, it's kind of strange. I mean, I've been so frustrated sometimes. I've broken controllers. Yeah. Then it costs you more. And it's like, but why? What is this worth? All the headaches and everything, the trauma and all that. It's just not very. But, anyways. Like next set of fresh batteries out of the charger, so I can get these other ones charging. There we go. Yeah, we all have. You know, the games frustrate you to the point that you're just like, you're throwing it down, you're throwing it against the wall, whatever, and then you're just like, great, now I gotta come up with the money to buy a new controller. You know, and those things aren't cheap. I mean, you can buy a cheap one, but they don't last for very long. You know? So, that's the problem. A lot of things just don't last. They don't last for very long. And they're not cheap. Anyway. What else? So the sim update seems like things are, I guess, better for the most part. What was I going to say? There's a few things that I've noticed since I downloaded it yesterday, it seems like the menu stuff, like my controller takes forever to, you know, like I click on something and it takes forever for it to register that I clicked on it. Yeah, if you get mad. Yeah, and I think Doris would do the same thing to me. She told me, she says, yeah, if you're getting frustrated, I'm gonna tell you very nicely that you need to stop for the night or whatever. And because she said, no, you're not gonna act like that when we're together. I don't think she'll wrap me around the head, but she said she'll make it very clear in a nice manner that my behavior is not acceptable. So, yeah. As long as I stay away from the competitive sort of games, I think it's fine. But, yeah. We should be getting close, I think. At least we're flying a little bit closer, parallel to our line there on the little VFR map. I know this is kind of cheating, but for the sake of expediency, like I don't want to be flying for 5 hours because we get lost. I've got to get better at the timing of things, and that's one of the things I need to give you. Yeah, tons of controllers too when I was playing on the old 8-bit games. Like, oh yeah. That's true. Yeah, I remember those games. Yeah. Well, no, she said we talked about it actually, Nick, and I said, you know, what would you do if I get that frustrated? She said, I will come to you and I will just tell you very nicely, I think it's time to stop, and you're going to stop. She said, I'm just going to tell you, basically, that it's time to turn the computer off or whatever, and call it a night, call it a day, whatever. She said, no, you're not gonna get that upset about a video game. Okay. I can live with that. So there's an achievement. I'm guessing there's an achievement for it on the PC side. I don't know how the achievement works on that side of the sim. Oh, there it is. It's called My Way, and basically you have to take off from parking spot, technically the parking spot, with no assistance whatsoever. Like, you gotta do all the radio stuff. You can use autopilot, stuff like that, but you have to handle all the radio traffic. You're updating your altimeter readings at the same time. It's like a lot of work to do. Now, flying with true life stuff, it's not. What I found was it seems like it's more complicated than it needs to be, for whatever reasons. Like, we overthink it or whatever. Yes, would it be like if I had true life stuff on right now, would it be frustrating if suddenly the engines all quit on us and we have to call in for an emergency landing and then we haven't proceeded? Hello, fish guns. I stopped when I met girls. Nice to see you here, Fish Guns. Yeah, nice to see you. We are on our way to Budapest. Joseph, his name is Patrice. Oh, Lordy. Joseph, what are you like? Alright, here comes the main 1650. Alright, and we will continue we're kind of close to that now, so it's all right. And there are many other kinds of problems, yeah. Well, anyway. Wow, look at that push of the wind. What is going on today? It's, normally when I put this, a few clouds, the wind is not that severe. It seems to be fine. The only thing that I noticed since I downloaded the update yesterday and then even again this morning was that it seems like when you're trying to navigate the menus with your controller, it's a bit laggy. It doesn't react like it used to. So I don't know if I need to update my controller possibly, or yeah, it's very strange. But that's the only thing. So far, it's been good. I've not experienced anything too insane. I flew yesterday. After I downloaded it, I took a little bit of a break, and then I got that achievement done for the My Way thing, where you fly at least 300 plus miles parking spot to parking spot. Now, when I came I hadn't even landed. When I came over the runway, because I was flying from the small airport in North Carolina down to Tallahassee. And when I came over the runway, bam, the achievement popped. I didn't even have to park. So that worked out rather well. But yeah, I haven't really seen. So it's, yeah, okay, all right. So if you did it even with a mouse, so I'm sure that's something they're going to have to look at or try to address with a hot patch or something. But that's the only thing that I've noticed. So hopefully, it seems like things are pretty good. I've not looked at the forums to see if there's been any massive complaints about things, really troubling problems, but yeah. So as long as it stays pretty stable. But this was one that a lot, Sim Update 8, a lot of people liked the way that one, the beta worked and everything. This one was the one that people were like, yeah, we're going back to problems again. There's something happening that they had to do a lot of fixes for the beta even. So, I saw a lot of times people are like, this is terrible. So they really took several steps back from Sim Update 8. It seems like the beta testers, they were like, yeah, what's going on here? Why? So, but yeah, it seems to be fine. They have corrected the voices for the ATC. It's a little bit easier to understand. So that helps out. The voices are a lot clearer, and they don't speak as fast as they did before. It's, they take their time explaining, they talk to you like you would expect I guess, somewhat of a normal ATC to act. But I know usually a lot more stuff is abbreviated, I'm guessing, in real world aviating, ATC stuff. You're using much shorter, especially if you're flying, into a very busy area. They don't want you on the radio for any longer than necessary. Well, that was the first thing I noticed when I flew yesterday. The voices seemed to be a lot better. You ran yesterday because I was frustrated that I was getting to Yeah, like that's one of the things about this sim that is the most perplexing sort of thing. It's like it just comes and goes in waves. It seems like a bunch of people experience them, and at the same time, other people don't. And it's like there's no like rhyme or reason why that's happening. You know. Yeah, I don't. It doesn't make any sense to me. You know, like I've had my share of them, but then it's like it for whatever reason, then I don't. It's hit and miss. You just never know when you're going to get a string of them, and then when it's going to suddenly everything will be fine. You know, that's the crazy thing in this sim, and I think that's what makes it harder for them to get to the root of the problem. Like if 99% of the community was experiencing CTDs, then I would think they'd be like, okay, we've got a serious problem here. But when it's like, no, it's not inside the plane. It's just, well, yeah, that's still true. Like, I don't know, but we'll live with it. Since because I was frustrated. Yeah, it's just that's the craziest part that I've seen is suddenly people will get a string of CTDs for no particular reason. Like, you know, you were flying like last week or yesterday and everything was fine. You know, so could it be the sim update? Well, if that was the case, then, you know, I think most everybody would experience the CTDs. But because they're not, and you just have, you know, random reports, and it's like a small, and I guess some people get to the point they don't even report it anymore. So that there's no telling how many players are actually being affected by it. So if it was like a vast majority, I think then they would have to really look at what's going on. But if it's just sporadic, then they're like, we can't replicate it. You know, if they can't replicate it, then as far as they're concerned, it's just one of those things that you just have to kind of contend with. But yeah, I can't stand it. Like, I'll get ready to fly and bam, CTD. Okay, let me try it again. Bam, and I'm like, okay, maybe tonight's just not my night. Or there's a glitch with, you know, this particular aircraft or something. You know? And that's the hard part is and I've seen the PC folks say, I have an empty community folder. I don't put anything in there, so it can't be that. You know, they have a very good PC system, you know, that's capable of running the sim. So yeah, it's very frustrating because there's no simple answers as to what they need to do for to make it better. I need to change this to 1, 2. How I got rid of my yoke, okay. Down in the phone. No, let's wait. 170. There we go. Perfect. It's all set once we get to NIT. So yeah, it's just it doesn't make a lot of sense. So, and because they basically say, well, if we can't replicate it, then as far as we're concerned, it's one of those things. So, which I don't think is the right answer. But I think people get so frustrated they just don't report things anymore. They don't want to be bothered. But that's also why I kind of check things, you know, as much as possible before we fly. You know, like later today, I'll check to make sure my flight for tomorrow, shouldn't be any issues or whatever. And, you know, I might check it again early tomorrow morning just double check, and then we'll be all good. I think that's one of the good things about that I start at 7:30 instead of 6:30. If I get up still at 5:30, for instance, I have time. Like if I'm worried about something, I like, you know, let's go in here and double check this before we start our stream later this morning, and then I can just kind of make sure that there's no surprises. But even if I check it, say I get up at 5:30, at 5:45, if I check the sim and everything appears to be set for our flight at 7:30, it doesn't mean that when I start up the sim and I put together the flight plan that I may, you know, I could experience it even though I checked it and it was like everything was fine, you know. So yeah, that's the difficult part. Thank you all for coming in today. Thank you for the 3 thumbs up so far. 9 viewers. Thank you. Nice to have you all here. It's Wednesday morning or afternoon or evening, wherever you are in the world. We are on our way to Budapest. This is a 32-leg journey that was done in a week. KLM flew the service from Amsterdam down to Indonesia. Yes, this is the plane that was released with the world update for Australia. It was the local legends. It's the Fokker F.VIIb. This is the retrofit model. You get the single engine and the 3 engine. This is the retrofit that has more modern navigating equipment in here. So you have your nav radios and all that. So, and it's got a transponder. So yeah. I'm not sure what the cost is. I couldn't tell you, but it is in the store, yes. It's a bit tricky, I'm not going to lie. If you do purchase it, I would I would look. There's they do have a manual for it. I would check all that because it's not an easy plane to fly. Well, it's easy to fly. It's not easy to land. Also, you have to. The taxiing is a bit. This is the only one that has like this steerable tail wheel, but the trick is you have to push your yoke. Basically, you have to push the yoke all the way forward in order to steer. It's very counterintuitive. But yeah, read the manual. There's a lot of good information there. I wouldn't say it's study level. It's just a bit. It's if you've flown the Fokker 52, it's like they're both from around about the same era, but the Fokker 52 feels more modern because it has flaps. Like there's no flaps on this, so when you come in for landing, it's like very sketchy, you know. So it just takes practice with it. But other than that, it's not a bad plane. It just takes some getting used to. That's all. It's got its own peculiarities and whatnot. So, but yeah, it flies well. I mean, it looks beautiful. You have like a bunch of different liveries for it. This is the KLM one. You got one for postal service in Spain. Bunch of different stuff. So, so it's cool that they put that in there. And then they also have the one that flew across from San Francisco. I think they flew from San Francisco over to Australia. Like it was a very long flight. It was a pretty famous flight. So you get that version of it. It says Southern Cross on the tail instead of it's back here. It'll say Southern Cross on it. But yeah, it's a fun little plane to fly. It's just, yeah, it's a bit challenging because it's just something different, and it's not, you know, like when I flew the Fokker 52 for a bit, it was like, okay, this is great, and then I hopped in this, and it was like, it's like you got to learn how to fly this plane. Not learn how to fly all over again, but it's like it's got its own challenges. But yeah, it can be like Monday. I finally landed this with no crash, so it can be very difficult to get it on the ground. If you got to like gently touch the brakes, you can't like hit the brakes, and then as otherwise the plane will nose right over, and that'll be it. You can't get it to to settle, to sit back upright. It'll completely nose over. So yeah, you just kind of have to work at the landings. And I would say you got to try, if you want to practice, find a very long landing strip to practice with it, to do circuits, for instance. Because otherwise, if you're on a short runway, you'll run out of runway very quickly. So yeah. Otherwise, I mean, it's a fun plane to fly. I think they're doing great stuff with these local legends. I'm hoping that they bring more of these, classic prop aviation. It's nice that they have a retrofit model, because then you can enjoy the sense of flying with something classic, but also be able to navigate in a more modern way. I think they did a recent update to it, but I'm not sure exactly what they fixed. I don't remember, but they did do an update to it recently. But I did a service. Went from Berlin to Greece, or to Athens, in the Junkers 52, and then because somebody on the Microsoft Flight Sim forums had told me about it, and I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. And then I discovered, I was like, well, I wonder what historic sort of flights I could do with the Fokker F.VIIb, and then I looked, and there was like this long trip from Amsterdam down to the former Dutch Indies, and we're going to go through some very scenic areas. I think we're going to go through Cairo, we're going to go through Iraq, we're going to go through Afghanistan, or Iran, and on down, and just it's going to. Is it normally yeah, the only thing that I've noticed is there seems to be more wind noise in here. Even though I don't have any windows open, I don't know if it's just the design of the plane, flying through the wind. It may be correct. I don't know, but it seems a lot quieter out here. Like, there's no wind noise, which I would expect it to be more prevalent outside. But yeah, it's not a bad little plane to fly. It's pretty quiet. Yeah, I know, Joseph. That's what we're talking about. I'm well aware of the update, trust me. That's why I didn't fly yesterday. I didn't want to take any chances that anything would go wrong, so I just canceled yesterday's flight. I can assure you, I track all those things. But thank you for your... what's the word I'm looking for? Thank you for your acknowledging that there was a update. Yeah, it's got its issues, but it's like you download it, and I think like at first day or so it seems kind of weird, and then all of a sudden things kind of settle down. But yeah, it's not surprising. A lot of people have troubles. I think more so on the PC side, because you have to clean out certain folders and all these other things, and because they're always saying if you do these steps, you should have a pretty straightforward update. It shouldn't be a problem, and it's just it's a mess. But yeah, it's very. That's the strange thing. Like some PC folks, they download it, no issues. Other folks, they try to download it and get everything set back up, and it's a mess. So don't know what to say about that. Yeah, a lot of people do that too. They uninstall it, and then Yeah, it's just, yeah. And some people find that they install the update and then they uninstall the game and they reinstall it, and it's like it seems to fix it. But everybody's got these weird workarounds of how to deal with these strange sort of behaviors with the sim. So yeah, I don't know. But then we have our, I think they're doing the Q&A session tomorrow, if I remember correctly, or is it? No, I think it's today. I think the Q&A session, it's the modules. Yeah, the Q&A session I think is today, later this afternoon or this evening, and then I'm sure they'll cover what they, what they fixed with the sim update. I mean, they gave out the list, all the fixes or whatever. But I'm sure that'll be part of the discussion. I think hopefully there'll be an update on the WASM issue for the Xbox side, because I think people are chomping at the bit to get some of the other aircraft like the DC-6 and some other things that we've been waiting on the Xbox side. Hopefully will be coming later this summer. So I'm sure Jorg will possibly give an update about that. And then, of course, we have the roadmap update, the developer update on tomorrow, and then see what we get with that. I only play on Xbox. I don't have a PC. So that's a lot of people, there's a lot of things that simmers have been asking. Hey, can we do this, or can we get this? And right now, the answer is no, because they're saying that as Jorg called it, I think the way he described it is, he said the Xbox is a closed garden, and they're trying to find a way to open it up, but does not compromise the security for the Xbox. That's what they're trying to figure out how to do, because that's part of the WASM issue. Like the aircraft like the DC-6. That's why it didn't work on the Xbox right away, because the way that they coded it apparently conflicts with the way that the architecture of the Xbox, it conflicts. As far as that's my understanding. I may be wrong, but that's how I perceived it to be what they were talking about. So they're trying to find a way to, I guess, give a key to the garden, but the key is very limited, because they don't want to open it up, because they're very worried that once they do that, then it's gonna be a problem. So, but yeah, I've heard that like a lot of people I've talked to I would like a Pan Am livery for the 747, and it was like, well, you can get one on. I'm like, yeah, but I'm on the Xbox. I can't download it and put it on the Xbox. So it would be nice if we had access to like a market other than the in-sim marketplace, because we're always waiting. It's like every Thursday evening, everybody's like, okay, what's going to come out today? What's it going to be? And then it's like either a bunch of airports or scenery stuff, and that's it. And it's like another week of no aircraft. So yeah, there was some times that it just felt like it was very hard to remain positive. Like it was just, when are we going to start getting some really quality stuff? And it's slowly coming. I mean, we got the Concorde came out a few weeks ago, I think. It was released, and a lot of people, it's strange. Some people love flying it, and other people are like, I just can't do it. I don't. But it's one of those things that you just, even if it's not like super complex, even though the Concorde is, if you look at the flight deck, yeah. Well, there unfortunately there isn't, Simon Irish. My understanding is that's something that they want to be able, like a lot of the simmers on the Xbox are saying, when can we get, and they're saying right now they won't because of the security issues, the security concerns with the Xbox. That's what they have to overcome that first. If they can overcome it and the Xbox still remains secure, the encryption stuff and all that, then I think they'll find a way to link that. But right now they won't, or they can't, because of the way that the Xbox is designed. I guess like the system architecture. But otherwise, yeah, it'd be amazing, because there's, you know, like every week it seems like another great plane is coming out. Now we also did get the Goose, the Grumman Goose, which a lot of people were looking forward to from Big Radials. A lot of people loved that one, so we're starting to get a few things, but it's like everybody's wanting, you know, more, and sometimes more is not always better, because then it's like you get so many things. Like, how do I find time to fly all this stuff? You know, that's the difficult part, because you're like, I got so many choices now. What do I do? You know, yeah, liveries, all kinds of stuff. But it's more about for the Xbox folks. I think it's more about what aircraft's out there. Like the Electra 110 is out there. The Boeing 247 Delta. Everybody's like, man, I want to get my hands on this, but I don't want to pay thousands of dollars to put a PC system together. You know, so. So, yeah, it's just a very, but yeah, you're right. It's just going to take time to sort it out. I remember when Jorg said that basically what they discovered was initially they said the fix for the Wasm was going to take a year. And he was like, no, we can't wait a year. So he knows, I think he understands that the Xbox community is starting to get a little impatient. And he's trying to like, well, we may be able to do it sooner. We're going to try, and we're going to keep testing it. As long as it's stable, then we'll put that out there, and hopefully then we can start getting like the DC-6 and a bunch of other stuff. I'd love to fly the DC-6. Like, it just seems like just an amazing plane, and I would love to fly, because you know, the big 4-engine props, and yeah. I think a lot of people were like, finally, we're getting this really awesome stuff. And, you know, plus the 737 from PMDG is coming out. But the Xbox folks probably going to have to wait for it. You know, that's the unfortunate part. But, yeah. Didn't realize you was watching me as well. Nick's good like that, Joseph. You never know when he's watching. Sometimes he surprises you. But the other thing too, I think, because you know, before we know it'll be the first year of the sim on the Xbox. I think eventually going into the second year, I want to kind of I want to make it a little bit more, even more realistic within. Yeah, the 737, a lot of people are really excited for that. Like, that's the one that they're like, yeah, the Burdock 737, everyone's like, forget it. Once they get the one from PMDG, that's all they're going to fly. I apologize for the noise in the background. So, yeah, when that comes out, I think a lot of people are what, Joseph? What do you... Okay. The 777, you know, you got the Captain Sim stuff. Some people like them. Some people have flown them, and they're like, that's the weird thing, right? Like the Embraer stuff, right, from Virtual Coal. Some people fly it, and they're like, I understand the quirks of the plane. I can fly it, no, you know, very small issues, or I can work around the issues that I know about, and I can enjoy the flight. And other people are like, it's crap, don't buy it. But if you spend the time and and figure out those quirks, and you're like, okay, now I know how this works. It's like, okay, now I know what to do. A lot of people don't do that. They just, but a lot of people, everybody swears that don't buy anything from Captain Sim. It's just a remodeled 747. It's not even that accurate, blah, blah, blah. But everybody's like, well, but I want to fly this, and I don't have any other options right now. So, it's just, it's very, very strange. Well, it's just, again, it's just one of those things. But yeah, if once that 737 comes out and it's on both the Xbox and the PC, yeah, Braddock's, nobody will ever probably fly the Braddock 737 again. Yeah, exactly. That's part of the problem. Everybody's like, it's just, they copied and pasted. Yeah. But some people are like, hey, it works. I can make it work. It's not a problem. I'm fine with it. But the problem is, though, since that I know of, Captain Sim has not updated their planes at all. They've not gone in and just made minor adjustments to anything or whatever. It's just like, it's just there. Like you said, it's eye candy. So they got their money, and then they just don't update anything else. That's the problem. So I think that's why they have such a bad reputation. Like, they don't even go back and try to improve what they put out. Not that I don't know what else they could do I don't know what they could improve with it, but I think that's one of the big concerns, is that there's been no, other than maybe some livery updates, like they put a few extra liveries out there, but other than that, they don't really do anything. They don't update their aircraft at all. So we are still well on our way to NIT, because we're not even saying continue to NIT as planned. So I don't know if we're halfway there yet or not. But yeah, a lot of people, like I know somebody who I follow on Twitch was like, he downloaded I think he downloaded P3D because they had the PMDG 737 on there, and he's like, yeah, I can't wait for this to come to the sim, to Microsoft Flight Simulator. He's like, definitely going to get it. So yeah, everything I've seen, like the flight deck details look amazing. I'm sure it's going to be way better than the one from Braddock 3D. So yeah, it's going to be. Oh, I still got quite a ways to go, Simon Irish. This part of our flight is 145 nautical miles, so we still got a long way to go. I'm not sure if we're quite halfway there yet, till the next waypoint. So we're just gonna keep plodding along, and then we have a 70 nautical mile run from NIT. That's the next waypoint to BUD. That's near the airport. So that will complete our journey for today. So yeah, we're just gonna keep plugging along here. Yeah, I took off. This doesn't have an autopilot. That's one of the things I think most people did not like about it, is that you can't just like put an autopilot and let it go. It's, you kind of just have to let it climb, and then it finally settles down eventually. And right now I just make small adjustments, but right now the plane's pretty much flying itself. I just keep an eye to make sure it doesn't like suddenly nose over and head for the ground, or start climbing up and then I stall. It's just, we're just gonna kind of. So yeah, I just make minor adjustments with the Xbox controller, and turn it a little bit to make sure I kind of stay on track there. But I'm really happy I found this route. I'm like, man, because I don't know if you've ever heard of him, Captain Arish. He's over on Twitch. Matter of fact, let me find his Twitch. He'll be flying tonight, actually. He's doing this around the world journey in the Cessna 172, but he's not. His whole thing is he does not use GPS at all. He times his flights, like his legs. Like he'll say, okay, it's been this long, and we should be turning this direction now, and then that's what he'll do. On Saturdays, he flies with Allison. They're replicating the around the world flight for Amelia Earhart. Allison is the pilot. She takes Amelia Earhart's place, and Captain Arish is the navigator. I can't remember his name, but so yeah, check him out. He'll be on unless if he puts something in like later today, he should be on tonight. Usually about 6:30 Eastern. But yeah, you can join him. He's always happy to have more people, new people come in. You can always fly with him. The way he's doing it, he calls it the Compass Club. He doesn't want everybody to use like GPS, but you know they're flying around in Australia right now. Amazing scenery, all kinds of fun stuff. Skip, hey, how are you? Nice to see you, Skip. I haven't seen you in a while. Very nice to see you. So yeah, check him out. Lots of knowledge, but when he flies with Allison on Saturdays, oh, Noonan, that's who it is. Noonan, yes, thank you. Yeah. Sorry, Skip. It for some reason it came up with something different. Yeah, Noonan. Yeah, really amazing stuff. He'll do the celestial navigation on the flight with Allison. So yeah, if you're interested in more different ways to fly, definitely, he's a great resource to expand your horizons, so to speak. No pun intended. But yeah, I try to fly with him when I can. A lot of fun. If you've got questions, he'll take the time to answer them as best as he can. One of the things I really admire about him is he'll try to explain it in a way that people can grasp it. But if you're like, I'm still not getting it, he'll try to work with you. Have time now. I'm staying home with. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Skip. That sucks. Well, I hope you feel better soon. Yeah. That sucks, man. But yeah, great. Always a great stream. Saturdays, you can fly with them on Saturdays too when they're doing their flights for Amelia Earhart. And you don't have to do the whole flight. If you're like, hey, I can only fly like halfway or whatever, they're like, hey, just come on in and have fun. Yeah, exactly, Skip. Somebody, they know who he is, but we were just talking about different ways of flying in the sim, and the way he flies, he doesn't want to use GPS or anything. It's all like he uses what he calls the steam gauge 172. So it has like the small GPS receivers and everything, but he doesn't use that. He'll blank that screen because he doesn't want to know. He wants to challenge himself, which I think is a great thing, and that's what kind of inspired me to do this flight from Amsterdam down to the former Dutch East Indies, because it's like, man, this is going to be a long flight, but I can take my time. I can just do it in little sections. And so yeah, this is our third flight. So I'm only going to be doing them on Mondays and Wednesdays in the morning. Some flights are going to be, an hour and a half or whatever, and other ones are, you will never know when. Yeah. Oops, automatic. Yeah. So yeah, I do all my flying in the morning because that way if I have other things to do later in the day, then I have time to do those other things. Just followed who, Joseph? What are you talking about? You're not making sense again, Joseph. But yeah, always a good time. They're very open, friendly people. Him and Allison both. I always have a great time when I watch them or I fly with them. It's not bad. It's just got these the thing, Skip, that I notice is like this. The retrofit version is the only one that has the tail wheel. The other ones, you have like the little tail skid plate thing on the back. Oh, okay, Joseph. And then, but for this one, in order to steer it, you have to push the yoke all the way forward, and then you can use you can turn with the rudder stuff. It's not bad. I mean, it's got its kind of a bit comparing this to the Junkers 52, which I'd love to fly. This one has no flaps, so it's like trying to get the plane to slow down and all that is a big challenge. The landing is very kind of counterintuitive. Like you just really have to kind of hover over the, you just have to stay over the runway. The longer the runway, the better, I think, because otherwise you're going to run out of runway very quick, because if you hit the brakes too hard, you're going to nose right over, and that'll be the end of it. So yeah, but it's not bad. I like it. It's got its challenges, which is good. I like the look of it. It's very classic. But it flies very different compared to the Junkers, because the Junkers has got that low wing setup. It feels different flying the high wing setup. So, but other than that, it's fun. It's just one of those things that you have to get kind of used to, overcome the weird little quirks in it. Yeah. So if you do the tail dragger version, you basically gonna have to start on a runway or something that you can get the plane going. Otherwise, you'll never be able. I don't think you'll be able to taxi at all. So, yes, I love the Junkers 52. Oh man, and I'm gonna be flying that again here after the middle of next month. We're going to do some services. We're going to fly over into South America, which I did all this research about, like Deutsche Lufthansa in the period before the start of World War II, and they had gone over to like South America and all this stuff and set up passenger and mail service over there. But they didn't last for very long, because once word got around about what was happening in Germany, a lot of the countries is basically they seized all the assets and kicked everybody out. So, but it's getting to fly and kind of just experience that history too, I think is a great thing, and it'll be very scenic, I think, and just a lot of fun. So, yeah. But yeah, the Junkers is. Oh, it's amazing to fly. So yeah, but it's good. If you're talking to Prague, let me see if I can figure out where we are. I'm getting bounced around from everybody. Beauty. So I gotta find. Should be, yep, there's that. See if I can figure out about whereabouts we are. Looks like we're about there, maybe. I think that's around about where we are. Okay, I think I have a good idea where we are. So based on that, we should be about halfway there to our next waypoint, to NIT. So we're getting there. Still got a little bit more flying to go. Then we'll turn for 70 nautical miles, and then we'll be headed to Budapest. That's a great thing about SkyVector. It doesn't cost anything, but you can kind of guesstimate where you are and look at the chart. Yep, this is where we are. So yeah, we're about halfway there. If I'm reading things correctly, we are about halfway there. There's a little body of water right there. So I think we should be about halfway there, I think. Of my estimation to our next waypoint. I do appreciate everybody coming in today and hanging out. Nice conversations. Thank you for the 4 thumbs up too. Appreciate that. We've got a nice flight plan tomorrow on the F-14 going from Moffett, former Moffett Naval Air Station, now Moffett Federal Airfield, primarily used by NASA. We are heading to Homey, very special area. I think what I'd like to do is just start losing a little bit of altitude slowly from while we're on our way to our nav point. So yeah, do join us for that. 7:30 Eastern, 12:30 UK time, 11:30 UTC. For those of you who prefer the UTC stuff. So it should be a good flight. Should be fun. And then hopefully we'll land there in Homey and call it a day. Should be I think it's only going to take like 45 minutes to get there, as fast as the F-14 is. So we'll get up there. We'll be there before we know it. So we will. That should be fun. And then Friday we'll be in the A320 heading from Colorado Springs to Pittsburgh International. So that should be a good flight. And then Saturday we'll be back in the Lightning going from Ontario to Salinas. So going back a little bit north, almost near the, heading kind of towards Monterey Bay. So Salinas is inland from Monterey Bay, but that is not far. Nice little drive from Salinas over to Monterey. Nice little twisty road and all that. If you have a sports car, it's one of those roads that you like to drive a sports car on. Get this plane rolling back over this way. Yeah, good stuff coming up. And then Sunday we'll be in Lisbon for our scenic flight, and that will wrap up our month of April and going into May. Oh, you know what? I totally forgot to do my semi-professional talk earlier when Simon Irish was in. Alright, so please pay attention to the following announcement from your streaming host. International streaming rules and regulations require me to provide the following information. I am on the Xbox Series S. I have the deluxe version of Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. We are currently flying the Fokker F.VIIb 3M-Retrofit. We departed from Prague, and we are on our way to Budapest. I am not taking requests for flights. My flight schedule was created well in advance and is subject to change based on my own personal schedule. Mondays, Wednesdays, and eventually Fridays are vintage aviation flights. Tuesdays are jetliner and regional jet flights. Thursday, military aviation flights. Saturdays, Lightning Saturdays featuring the P-38. Sundays are scenic flights. Sunday will be Lisbon. Last Sunday we were over by Gibraltar. Any other information can be found in the description area below the video. Thank you for your attention to the announcement. I should start learning jets. Yeah, I've not. That's the tricky part. I've not tried to create a flight plan in the like if you go into the jet, you start it up and then you start programming your flight plan in there. I've not had any. I've tried like a couple times, but I've not been able to really get to grips with it. I would like to get to know that a little bit better too, so that you, instead of doing it with the map, you can. But the interesting thing is, like if you like on Navigra or SimBrief, if you find all your waypoints that way and then you try to plug it in. Like I can't import it over into the Xbox side. That's the tricky part. So I would like to learn how to do all that too, but it's very. I think I need a keyboard and a mouse. That might make it a little bit easier to do. But yeah, there's a lot more to do. I think learning how to do more stuff that way. And, it's good. Yeah, one of the things, like I was like on a big kick, after a while I was like, oh, let's fly the A320 everywhere, and then it's like there's more. I think it's when I started watching Captain Arish after he raided my channel, and I was like, man, there's way more stuff I should be doing, and then it was like, so now I'm like just on this general aviation kick, so. But it's like you get these, like, oh, I really want to fly all these general aviation planes, and then you're like, okay, now I want to go back to the jets and stuff, and it's like there's always something else to do. That's why I try to mix it up, for the week, so that way we have a little bit of everything. But there's still way more to do, So. It's like there's so much to fly and all that, so. ZSE. Where's LZs? Might be so small. Let's see. It's not even. So we gotta get it back the other way. Like I overcorrected it. Yeah. Yeah, like that's why I like flying with Captain Arish. Like, you know, you just I don't, because the way he sets up his flight plan, I don't know how to, you know, try to find those same points on my map. Some of them I can find. Like if he has a point of interest, and I'm like, okay, this is where this route is heading to. Other times I just take off with him and I just fly, and you know I just try to follow as best as I can. But yeah, the scenery in Australia has been absolutely amazing, and Oz Nomad just really providing. It's him and a few other people in the chat, providing some kind of information about the area, so that we can learn more about those parts of the world. There's a lot of things I just didn't know, about Australia, for instance. And so it's nice to have a person who's lived there and knows all the little particularities of the area and stuff. So yeah, it's been really amazing. And I think pretty soon, like next week, I think he's headed over to New Zealand for the next bit, and then they'll come back around and continue up the rest of Australia and on around and jump from there and just keep on going. Before we know it, they'll be in America, back on the West Coast. And he'll do his trip from there to the East Coast, I think. Well, no, is he going? I don't know how he's going to do it. I guess we'll know when it happens. Yeah, it's really, the GA stuff is a lot more fun. Because even if, like, one of the things I like about it is in some of them you can just put the autopilot on and it's fine. Other times it's like you really gotta fly, and it's difficult. Like I struggled initially when I got the sim on the Xbox and trying to control. Even the 152 was like, I was all over the place. But now it's just, you just have to make those small little adjustments with the thumbstick. I think I have a trouble with the chat because you seem to answer. Oh, it's over. I got a viewer over on Twitch, Patrice. That's why. So yeah, I have two chats that I'm looking at. I try to keep an eye on both so I can talk to everybody. So yeah, no, you're fine. There's no problems. It's funny because Allison, a few weeks back when she popped in, she's like, "Who are you talking to?" I said, "Oh, I'm talking to people over on the YouTube side." No, you don't. No, there's no problem at all. I would like to skip. I know Oz said he's had the Velocity 1. I think it's worked out very well, so that's on my wish list eventually to get. Part of it is I just need to find the room to use it properly. Like I'm gonna have to find another little table or something to be able to mount it to, so that I can sit here, and fly. What I'd really like to do eventually down the road, I've been pricing it already and just kind of getting ideas together for it. But I'd like to build a whole PC system, or buy one that is definitely going to be able to run Microsoft Flight Simulator, and then get one of those like the desk, I guess, kind of like what Captain Arish has. I think they call it like a flight desk or something, but you can have all your stuff mounted and all that, and so yeah, that's what I would like to do. Skip. But yeah, I think as much as I like the sim on the Xbox side, there's just way more. Like, you know, like when Captain R started talking about the celestial navigation stuff, it's like I can't really do all the stuff like he can on the PC side, you know. So it's just, yeah, it's very, but yeah, I'd really like to go for a PC side. Yeah, it's just, yeah, I would really like to do that, because it's just way more. You can do way more. There's more aircraft coming all the time. It seems like you just can't keep up with it. But it's great, because you're like, oh, I can. If there's one, like, I'd really like to get the Corsair. I don't know that, you know, how long will it be before we get it on the Xbox side? You know, because I'd like to have another World War II aircraft to fly. But I have to say this. Well, like the way, like, I'm not too disappointed with the graphics. I mean, is it perfect? Probably not. But like, I look outside this window here and I see that engine detail, and I think that is just amazing. Like, you could just see little things like the wire coming out of here, and you know, just little things like that. And that to me is a really amazing part. Like, I know everybody likes to just really hammer home about the graphics, and some people are like pixel counters and all that, but it's like, to me, it looks well enough that I'm really happy to be flying this. I grew up loving planes. Like, I built models of all, you know, like basically fighter planes and, you know, military jets and stuff. But I always liked, you know, I don't know if you ever heard this story, Skip, and I apologize if I'm, oh, okay. Padach 31, thank you. I'm guessing that's you, Patrice. When I was growing up, I lived in the Bay Area, and when we go visit my grandparents up in Northern California, we would stop off by Vacaville, which is near, you know, Fairfield, where the Air Force Base there, Nellis, is at. I think it's, no, not Nellis, Travis. So it was an area called the Nut Tree, and it had like this nice restaurant. You know, it was kind of, you know, it had been around for quite a long time, but it was like one of those places we would stop and have breakfast on the way up north. But they had this really, because they have a small airport, which is still there. Yeah, it is story time, Joseph. And they had a small airport, but they had this huge bookstore that was nothing but aviation related stuff. There was a toy store you could get like wooden planes or whatever. They also had some model kits for sale, you know, kind of basic stuff. Nothing like fancy like a Tamiya. It's just like the Revell or kind of stuff. But I always loved stopping there, because either before or after breakfast, you know, I would like, or I try to eat when I'm going to be in the bookstore, and I would just go and find a book about, you know, military aviation in general or whatever, and I could literally spend hours in there if I could. But and you know, I was telling, and so the other part of the story is, at some point in my life, I was set to go to San Jose State. I was so serious about going to San Jose State. I had already committed to a fraternity, and I hadn't even been accepted to the school yet. That's how dedicated I was to doing it. And because part of it was, San Jose State had one of the best aviation programs for any college or university. So I think if I had gone there, that was something that I would have, you know, gravitated towards and got a career in the aviation field, but I didn't. And I regret that. You know, it would have been, I would have loved to have done that. But yeah, I always remember, like, I've flown a couple times from that little airport there in Vacaville or Fairfield. Can't remember which one it's nearer to, but I know you go past Travis, and it's just maybe 15 minutes past Travis or so, depending on the traffic. But yeah, when this sim came out, I was like, man, I totally missed the whole, aviation stuff, and just it like reignited that whole thing from my childhood, I guess. So, but yeah, now that I know, like the bug, I've gotten bitten by the bug. Now it's like I want to do more, and I know they're working on things for the Xbox, but it may, there's no telling exactly how long it will take for them to get a lot of those things done, so that we can get more, like the DC-6 back in here and stuff like that. So, on the PC side, yeah, there's just way more stuff. Like, I see Captain Arish flying the 247 Delta, and he's like, it's amazing, and it's like, man, I'd really like to be able to fly that on here, but we don't know if or when we'll get it. Like the Electra 110 that Allison flies on Saturdays, I would love to be able to fly that, because it's a really cool little plane, but it's like yeah, we just don't know if or when we'll ever get it on the Xbox side. So yeah, I'm just, and that I used to check all the time on MSF add-ons, the website. I'd see all this stuff, and I'd be like, oh, hey, we're gonna get this, and it's like I would look down at the very bottom. This is for the PC only at this time. I was like, man. Yeah, it's a very impressive plane, and that 247 Delta, very impressive as well. Like that classic aviation stuff. That's what I really like. Just that, vintage feel to it. And, it's not super fast. You can just take your time and enjoy the flight, even though they were fast for their time. Like this was, the Fokker flew fast for its time. But it was like a very exclusive thing. It was mainly for business people and of course wealthy people, but it was a very special thing, I think, too. But yeah, there's a lot that I would love to do. The Kodiak is the problem with that has been the issue with the NXI. Now there was an update this morning for the NXI. I don't know if that resolves the conflict with the Kodiak, because I would load it up, because I like the working titles G1000 NXI, because there's more information provided on the screen, which I didn't realize was way better than this. Excuse me, the stock version of the NXI, or the G1000, I mean. So, but yeah, if you have the NXI installed and then you want to fly the Kodiak, it would cause a CTD. So hopefully they've got that resolved, because a lot of people, there was this conflict between the two, and it wasn't working. So hopefully they've got that resolved. Yeah, so if I've flown it a few times, but I have to use the standard G1000 in order to fly it, but hopefully that gets resolved somehow, that you can fly the Kodiak with the NXI installed as well. I didn't notice, like, I kept hearing about this working title G1000 thing, and I was like, what is this all about? And the more I started to learn about the sim and everything, I'm like, oh, there's all these other things you can do with this, and there's more information, and this, that, and the other, and it's like, man. So yeah, it's but yeah, that's the tricky part, I think, here is it seems like we get something, and then it's like there's a conflict, but you don't know what the conflict might be. Like I like the T-45, the Goshawk, but when I would try to fly it, I would get a CTD. Now, hopefully, with the sim update, maybe some things got fixed with that. I don't know. We're getting way off track here. A little too far for my comfort. So yeah, I'm hoping to be able to fly that for military aviation Thursday, because it's a fun little plane to fly. Even though there's no like autopilot or anything, you just take off and just try to navigate as best you can and get to your destination. So, so yeah, you really have to pay attention to flying that. I think we are getting a little bit closer to. We're definitely at the point now that they're telling us to continue to the NIT, so that's a good sign. Yeah, I think it was, Skip. It's very possible that it was. The only thing that it wasn't, I think, is there was a lot of stuff with the SDK for the third-party developers. I think they fixed a lot of stuff with that, but yeah. I mean, it seems to be working fine. I mean, I flew yesterday, even though I didn't stream. It didn't seem like there was many issues. The only thing that I noticed is when I'm in the menu, you know, like when I'm at the main menu, it's like the controller, it's like a bit laggy. You know, like I click on something and it's like it doesn't recognize that I clicked on it. It's like I have to click on it again or a couple more times, it seems, in order for it to work. But other than that, it's not been too bad. So yeah, I really want to do more. I really enjoy it. I wasn't sure, but now that I've gotten a little bit better, it's like now I want to, you know, take things to another level and all that. But part of it for me also is that I try to I have to worry about my time. You know, like I would like to do like 6 or 7 hour flights, but that's a lot for just me by myself. You know, like Captain Arsh is lucky, he's got I can't remember her name now for some reason. I'm drawing a blank. You know, she can bring him food and stuff like that along the way, and you know, so yeah, that helps out a lot. But if it's me by myself, it's like I gotta do all those things, plus fly and talk to the chat. All right, that should be our waypoint right there. There we are. We made it. We're doing pretty good on time too. So we may get there in less than 3 hours. We're almost at 2 hours. So now we got this 70 nautical mile bit to go, and once we get closer to NIT, I'll swap over the frequency, dial in our heading stuff down there, and then we'll be on our way to Budapest. So we're almost there, folks. We're getting there. So yeah, that does help, I think, if you're doing these longer flights and stuff like that. Or I know, like when he's flying with Ali, they take turns taking breaks and stuff like that. So that helps. Yeah, when it's just by yourself, it's very difficult because you're trying to do all those things and take care of yourself. Like that time I flew from New York to Frankfurt, from JFK to Frankfurt, by the time I landed in Frankfurt, I was just like done. I was really tired, and yeah, it was a lot of work to do by yourself. So, all right, let's go ahead and swap that over. I want to go 1, 2. There we go. All right, so we are on our way. Yeah. 10 hours. Oh yeah, it's a lot of work. And again, Allison has somebody who brings her drinks and food and, you know, stuff like that. That does help out a lot, because when you're trying to do it all yourself, it's like you step away for a moment and it's like, oh, am I going to miss something? Is the plane going to suddenly nose over and crash for some reason, you know. So yeah, it's a lot of stuff to do by yourself. But you know, maybe in the future it would be like a once in a while thing. I'd do a long flight, but right now it's very difficult for me to do. Like on this total journey, there'd be a couple that are going to be approximately 4-hour flights, but that's the weird thing is if you can approximate, and sometimes it may take longer, and other times it's like it doesn't take as long. So it's very difficult sometimes to just say, yep, we're going to fly this long, and then either we go longer or we go shorter, preferably the shorter part, but just pull the first. Yeah, well, what I'd like to have, one of my goals is if I really want to get into this, once I have my computer set up, I would like to have like a mini fridge with something to drink, some snacks in there, stuff like that. So it's just, you know, you turn around and bam, it's right there. That does help out a lot. But you know, but that's just a little bit. Like you need something more substantial sometimes to help keep your energy up. So yeah, I would maybe I need a maybe I need a microwave in there as well, so I can throw in a microwave meal or something. I don't know, but I mean those are fine, but those aren't healthy either. Yeah. Yeah, it does help when you have somebody who can help you take care of yourself, you know, when you're doing all these things. Emma, that's who kept, yeah, Emma. Now I remembered her name. I always like though when everybody does the whole thing about the kitty cam. Yeah, Mick's got a mini fridge, yeah. That does help. Yeah, because I know you can just reach right over there and grab a drink or something. Yeah, Emma's her name. Well, I want to be able to do more. It's just that when you're by yourself, it's not that easy. You know, like I used to over Discord, I tried to do a D&D group with some people I knew that we met playing Destiny, for instance. And they're there with their families, and so it's like we would just keep going. I'm like, I gotta take a break, I gotta eat and all that. They're just like, well, but you know, but they have like their wives would be there and they would bring them food, for instance. It's like, man, it's only me. I can only take care of myself. So it's just sometimes people forget that when you're by yourself, it's, you know, you need that time to take a break and all that. But yeah, Cat Marish, if you watch the stream tonight, Joseph, he has what they call a kitty cam. He has a rescued cat that sometimes they'll put the camera right by the cat, and sometimes the cat will, if the cat doesn't want to be bothered, the cat will turn its back on the camera. Like she'll look at the camera for a minute and then she'll turn around and put her back on the camera. But yeah, a lot of people like to see the kitty cam. That's one of the highlights of his stream. Everybody loves that cat. That cat has so much love from around the world, it's amazing. But yeah, those are all things, you know, there's goals, but there's also a future with my lovely lady that, you know, part of it too is how much time I'm going to have to stream, you know, because we have plans if we want to travel and stuff like that, and it's, you know, like how much time would I be able to do that? Is it, it's because it's an investment, really. If you buy a computer and you buy all these things, you don't want to buy it and you're just like, well, I'm going to use it like once a month. It's like, seems a bit of a waste. But, but then again, if you have a schedule and say from this period of time to this period of time, no streaming because I'll be traveling or whatever, then it's fine. But, yeah, it's, but I like it. I like, I've tried to get better at it. I've had my ups and downs with streaming, and especially the chat, and trying to interact with people in a positive way. Sometimes it's not always that easy, but I've tried to find ways to improve, the overall experience, I guess. With these, yeah, that's the other thing too, and maybe eventually the prices will come back down and all that. But yeah, I've heard a lot of people who are getting new graphic cards, for instance, they're paying out the wazoo for them. And they're like, man, but they're like, I got to do it because the one that I have now is starting to fall behind, and I need to get ahead a few cards so that they're while the next generation of graphic cards are developed, so that they're not really struggling graphically in the sim. But yeah, that's the only other thing is just prices of that stuff is just outrageous. Wow, that is quite a wow, Skip. Oh man, wow, that's quite an investment. You are right. That is quite the investment. And that's the thing about any hobby. At first you're like, okay, I'll just get like if you start off with golf, you get a set of user clubs, for instance. And then you're like, I really love playing golf. And next thing you know, you're going to a golf store and you're getting all of these high-end golf clubs. And then you want the nice bag to go with the new golf clubs and all that stuff. And it's like, and then you're like, oh, well, this new driver's coming out. I got to have the new driver. And then you're just putting all this money in. And it's like, well, what about the old driver? The old driver works as well as the new driver, Yeah, I can understand that, Skip, definitely. Same thing with photography. You start off with a basic camera and you're like, I really like photography. Next thing you know, you're buying a high-end digital SLR and nice lenses, and then you got to have the software. You get a subscription to Adobe Cloud, and you have your Lightroom and Photoshop and all this stuff. And yeah, you can immerse yourself in it, but you also spend a lot of money doing it at the same time. And sometimes, if you look back on, like, how did I spend all this money? Where did it all go? Well, there you go, right there. So yeah. But I think any hobby that you're very passionate about, it's not just you invest time, but you also have to invest money. And sometimes it's a worthy investment. And other times you're just like, yeah, I might have to wait a little bit longer because I just don't have the funds, or I'm going to put myself in a little bit of debt that I don't need to do, kind of thing. Yeah, any hobby, I think you can easily get. In photography, they call it gear acquisition syndrome. Like, you see the newest camera, you're like, oh, I gotta have that. But the camera you have already is fine. It's not that old. It's not like it's 40 or 50 years old. And even cameras from back then, if you keep it serviced and all that, it'll last you forever. But everybody's like, I gotta have the new thing. I gotta have the new toy. And you get it and you're just like, okay. And then eventually you're just like, it wasn't what I was really hoping for, or anything like that. So I'm going to try to get the throttle down a little bit more so we can start descending, because I wanted to start bleeding off more altitude, because before we know it, we'll be right at Budapest there. Yeah, that's true. Like I loved building models when I was a kid, and I'd like to get back into it. I just don't have the space. Like I have to have a dedicated work area for it, you know. Like I see these people streaming that they have this whole little like area set up. They got all their paints and all the tools and all this stuff, and they got like a whole boatload of models right behind them. They're like, they work on something here and there. They don't like rush through it. They take their time. They're like, hey, this week we're going to be working on this, and next week it's something else, and they just keep at it a little bit at a time. But it's very interesting. But yeah, but the way that they have it set up, either they're in their garage or they built like a separate little like a shack or something, or you know, a separate area off their house, or they're in their basement, something like that. So yeah, it's but yeah, it can be very expensive and all that. There's no doubt. But yeah, yeah. So yeah, like I want to have that, you know, wherever I end up living next. I want to have like a computer room, basically a place for you know, if I get a computer and get all the sim stuff going, I want to have an area for that. And then I'd like to have a separate area also to build models and some nice shelves to put the models on and all that. I miss doing that. I mean, it's model building, much like photography, it teaches you a lot of patience, or it should. But it's, you know, like you get a kit, you're like, oh, I got to build it in a day. No, because you should take the time and enjoy the process of building the plane or the car or whatever, you know. So yeah, that's the problem. Oh, I surely won't be agreeing if I talk to her about the yeah, exactly, Trees. And that's the difficult part too, because you're just like, it's something you really enjoy, but it's also like you got other responsibilities, and, you know. But you know, as long as those responsibilities are taken care of, well, why not? You know, that's the key. Because it's easy to forget about the responsibility and say, but I really want this, and it's like, yeah, but we have other bills first, you know. That's the key. Pardon me for a moment, folks. I'm gonna mute myself. I got to take my vitamins. But I think too, if you have a spouse who really understands your passions and you know, helps you realize them within a reasonable way of doing it, then that's the best thing. I still have an unfinished wooden ship model. Oh, yeah, no. Yeah, exactly. That's amazing. I've always thought about trying to build one of those, but it's like, man, I have no idea what I'd be doing, and I know you have to have, you know, a lot of different tools to do that, like, you know, sanding blocks, and just, you know, it takes a lot of time. So I know if I ever did one at first, it would probably be. I do a bit of modeling, but she laughs at me, so I go back to my PS5. Oh, Mick. Better really turn this thing back. This wind has really got me all over the place. But yeah, I think if you have somebody who understands the hobbies that you love and everything, and they support you in a way that you can explore those hobbies, but also take care of your priorities, I guess. There's nothing wrong with that. But it's, yeah, sometimes you're just like, but I really want this thing. And nope, we still got to save the money for it, or maybe next year, you know. But yeah, sometimes you get impatient. You're just like, I'll just put it on the credit card and pay it off, you know. So yeah, it's Check out. Oh. Model kits. They're pretty simple. Oh, okay. I will definitely check those out. Because, you know, one of the things I built, like a lot of model planes back in the day, I'd like to build a few, you know, just build some that I really enjoyed. Like, I'd like to build an F-14 again, because I really loved, I had like 3 or 4 different models of that thing. I'd like to get one of those, and I'd like to get, but I'd also like to do some car stuff, especially racing, you know, just some different things. But I hear too, like, if you get into the, what's it called? There's another kind of kit that you can get. I can't remember what it's called. It's like a different. It's like, it looks like a plastic model kit, but it's what's it called? But it's like way more detailed. But it also takes more. You really have to kind of bring more out of it. What's the girl power? Patrice. Well, you can try. You can try. You're not always going to win. That's for sure. And sometimes that's okay. You know, it works out in the end. Like, they're higher end, they cost more. It's a what's it called? Yeah, they're very expensive. Like, they're $300 or $400 easily, depending on what you're looking for. But there's not a lot of parts, but it's just, you know. I can't remember what they're called now. Ugh, it's gonna bug me. Yeah, that's the. I think that's the tricky part is trying to balance all those things. You know, but again, if you have somebody who knows that part of you and understands it and appreciates it, then, you know, and you know, again, if you do things within means, then yeah, you can enjoy it. It's just when it gets out of control, that's when you can suddenly find yourself in debt. It's gonna bug me now until I figure what that is. I'm gonna have to look it up, otherwise it's gonna bug the crap out of me. It is called it'll come to me later. It's metal model kit of measurement. Oh, 600 years old. Whew. I mean, when she spend money on these. Yeah, that is a issue as well, Patrice. That's been known to happen. You're absolutely right. But that, to me, it's not a healthy relationship. You know, there should be some give and take. That's the key in a relationship. You know, You know, like, I remember years ago when I was living in California, I used to go to the races, the car races there at Laguna Seca. And my office partner at the time, she said, why do you go to those races? What's the big deal? You spend all this money down there. What do you... But I was like, but do you like gardening? Well, yeah. Then what do you get out of gardening? You're spending money on the garden, right? Well, but it's something you care about. You know, that's your thing. You know, like I said, I go to the races because I get to hang out and I get to see a lot of interesting stuff. I get to meet interesting people. Sometimes I get to meet interesting drivers. You know, that's the fun part. You know, but people who don't understand the, you know, like they kind of like poke at your hobby. It's like, so we're getting close. But yeah, if I was in a... I wouldn't want to be in a relationship with somebody like that. You know, that's just not healthy. Are we supposed to contact us back? Uh-oh. 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 We squawked, but they didn't call us back. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. That's not a good sign. That is not a good sign at all. Oh, boy. Look at... It's really like... Okay, because I was looking down, it was like it just got really washed out there for a second. Oh, I had a feeling something was going to happen. Okay, so ATC just stopped responding. Alright, what if I do this? Let's try this. Does that change anything? Nope. Alright. Okay, well, hopefully it'll catch back up. You never know when something like that's going to happen. So hopefully if we get closer, it'll kind of circulate itself back through. I wonder if I turn that off. Recycle it, maybe. Let's try that. Yeah. That's the tricky part, Patrice. You know, that's just one of those things. As the song goes, the things we do for love. You know, it's not always going to be easy or fair or whatever, but sometimes that's just life. Okay, so, interesting. Well, you know what? I wonder if what it was. It never went over to 700. I don't know if I can change it. Wish I can't move over there. Ah, this is the annoying part. I think I can, but let me reset. I think I gotta reset that. But you learn when to shut off, to walk away, and when to agree and not to get the flower. Yeah. That's true, Rick. You're absolutely right about that. Why can I not get... Oh, I know why. Check this out. Watch, now it works. I gotta get that thing out of the way. So, Here we go, maybe reset. Alright, well, let's see if that changes anything. Okay. Well, that is going to make an interesting bit of fun. I think we're almost at our airport. Oh, how am I going to deal with this? Well, I guess we're just going to land. But maybe as we get a little bit closer, things will kind of fix itself. What was the frequency I went to before? It didn't say. I wonder if crap. This is the problem if you zoom in like that. Oh my goodness. Wow. Ay. That is the problem right there. You can easily do something by mistake, and next thing you know, you are... Okay. Oh, goodness gracious. Yep, oops is right, Skip. Yeah, now it's like I gotta get this thing back. Like it doesn't want to... Oh, goodness. Alright, let's get this plane kind of settled again. Alright, I want to swap the frequency there. Swap. I don't know if it changed anything. I want to lose altitude, but I don't want to lose it that fast. Okay, there we go. That's better. Alright, what is... Yeah, definitely. What is the... Let's try this. Find the approach. No, I can't. We are going to LHBP. Approach. Going 3-1 right. Should be a... I don't know if it'll allow me if I change the best approach 112975. Let's try that. One two two. 975. Let's see if I can get this to work. Aha, there we go. Oh. Okay, no, that's not working. Let's say tuning Budapest control or something. Okay, that's not. Alrighty. Well, I guess we're just going to land either way. That's interesting that we cannot get this to... Well, you know what? Hold on just a second. I wonder if it's... Let's just pause it for a second and see if that... Options. I know. Let's see. Traffic data. Nope. Okay, I don't think that's a problem. Well, if we have to, we're just going to land either way. Have my runway and fly over and pick out our... matter of fact, I'm almost certain that's our airport there, right under those clouds. We still got to lose quite a bit of altitude now. After our little fiasco. Oh, alright. So, we will... If that's our airport, and I think it is, but we'll know for sure. We're going to come in on runway 31 right. So we'll go past the airport, get an ID on everything, make sure we're in the right spot at the right time. Then we'll turn back around and line up and we'll land. I guess something happened with ATC. It's very strange, like it just stopped talking to us. Maybe if I put that back on, the ident back on, maybe it'll cycle through. I don't know. It's strange, but yeah, they just stopped talking. Thank you all again for coming in today. Thank you so much for the 11 thumbs up. Greatly appreciate that. Very nice to see. Hopefully everybody's enjoyed the flight. Have a nice slow journey here to Budapest, but we should be getting near our destination here. Oops. And I think what I need to do is I'm going to dial back the props a little bit more. It's not always going to be all equal. Try, but it's not always that easy. Well, that's sufficient enough. Saw a runway, but as we're coming through the clouds, it should pop back up. I saw the lights, the runway, like the blinking lights that go to the runway. I saw those, so I know we got to be getting close, and I think it's like right over. Part of me thinks it's right there. I have not flown the 747 in a while, living alone. I've done it before, but it's not. Yeah, I don't generally... I did some long streams, but it's not... I can't do it. It's a lot of time for me to sit. You do have the sound around the wrong way. Yeah, I would think so too, Mick. It's just one of those strange things that I think they need to kind of work on as well, but it's fine. Yeah, I've done like a 6 or 7 hour flight in the 747. I did a flight from JFK to Frankfurt in the 747. It's just a lot of flying, and it's hard for me to do all that by myself. Like the chat's active for a while, and then it's kind of quiet. And then also on a long stream, you get a lot of people come in who are like very disruptive and chaotic and all that. So I think that's our airport there, but we'll get a little bit closer and make sure. But I kind of feel like that's it, but I could be wrong. We still got to be dropping altitude here. It's like it's not. There we go. That's what we're looking for. Yeah, it's just it's a lot to do by myself. So we were just talking about that earlier. As a matter of fact, to stream that long for sure, it's it's difficult for me to do on my own. Because I have to take care of myself while I'm doing all this and take bathroom breaks and get up and walk around and stuff like that. So yeah, it's maybe that's it. That almost looks like an airport there, but maybe that's just okay, that's like a road or something. That's our... But maybe in the future we'll do it again. It's just I have to plan for it well in advance and make sure that I have, you know, snacks and stuff nearby, that it's easy for me to at least eat something. You know, okay, yep, there's our airport right there. There's the 2 runway. So we want the one that's right there at the other end. The right wingtip, if I can get this right there, off the right wingtip. That's what we're looking for. So we're going to fly over it, make sure we are in the right spot. I'm pretty sure we are. The way that the airport is set up. Let me just look at the chart. Yeah, that's it. That's it right there. There's Budapest. All right. So we'll fly over the airport and just verify our runway. Which it should be correct because 3-1 is the opposite of the other runway, which is 1-3, I think. Let me look. Yeah, so 3-1 is the opposite end there. So we are in the correct spot. There it is, right there. All right, oops. Let's go ahead and get rid of that. Since we're here, we can get that turned off. We don't need that anymore. Let's see if we've been able to... Nope, still nothing. All right. Make sure it wasn't hiding below or anything. Nope. All right. It's just stopped working altogether. Interesting. All right. Well, we're going to put it on the ground either way. The sound, does it change as you get closer? It probably does. Let's take a quick check, and then we'll, as we fly over. Yeah, like if you get a little bit closer here, like the noise kind of goes up a little bit, but not much. I mean, they're not very powerful engines. Like, but yeah, a little bit of difference, I think. Oh, now these batteries are low. All right, well, let's swap these out. Boy, I thought these were fresher, but I guess I was wrong. Hold on just a second, folks. All right, I'm back. Yeah, in some cases, you do notice a difference, like especially with the jet planes, whether they're military jets or, you know, like the A320. When you're behind, you hear more of the noise. You know, depending on where you're at, there's a little difference here and there. So, all right, so that's 1-3. 3-1 should be down there. Come back around. So I'm going to turn a little bit to the left and we'll circle back around and land it. Dial these back just a bit more too. All right, that's close enough. There's our runway. There's my landmarks. Alright folks, it's about that time. As usual, I'm going to turn the laptop to the side so I can focus on landing. We should be on the ground momentarily. Fingers crossed we have another phenomenal landing. That's what we want. Want another nice touchdown. See if we can make that happen. We'll turn too early. Go a little bit farther and then we'll turn back around. All right. Alright, now I think we can start turning back. Alright, there we are. Watch, we're going to get on the ground and say, "You didn't have permission to land." Well, you guys stopped talking to me, so what was I supposed to do? Well, there's the receiver for it. It sounds like for the localizer. If I understand, if I remember my aviation knowledge in the sim. Wow, it's like I must be flying. Boy, the wind is crazy today. Like I would imagine it would say you've got a 3-knot wind, but it seems like it's more than that. It's like I'm on a just riding an air, like the wind right now, almost like I'm gliding. It's like I'm moving forward, but it's like I have to kind of nose the plane down to get the altitude down as we come in. we are really getting blown off course here. Alright. This is going to be a challenging landing, no doubt. Now it lines up, or now that stuff shows up. And no too fast. This is the difficult part with flying with the controller. You can easily overcorrect. Alright, let's just go ahead and try to... Come on, plane, settle down. Settle down. There we go. Just try to let it run itself silly. Whew, we made it. On behalf of myself and the entire flight crew, welcome to Budapest. Local time is probably, guessing 5 in the evening. I might be wrong. We understand and appreciate the fact that you have many options when it comes to your Microsoft Flight Simulator live stream viewing pleasures, and we are glad that you flew with us today. Please remain seated until we come to a complete stop. Thank you. See, Skip, you said something. Oh, thank you. I wouldn't call it butter. It's a very strange plane to land because you have to, like, the longer the runway, the better, just in case you got to let that speed bleed off before you set everything down. But yeah, if you hit the brakes too hard, it'll easily nose over. That's for sure. All right, there we go. Now I should be able to steer. Now, because we're not talking to anybody, apparently for whatever reasons, they don't like us anymore. We must have pissed off all the right people. Yes, I agree, Mick. That is exactly what we like to see after a long flight. It hasn't been too long. Only two. I think we've done a lot better than expected. We got here a little bit quicker than I expected. So we're going to go find a parking spot. We're just going to pull in and shut it down since they stopped talking to us. So, yeah, much happier. That's 2 in a row now. Like it. Very good. So, yeah, it's a very touchy plane to land because you can easily nose over it, before you know it. So, but anyway, we'll be back tomorrow, 7:30 Eastern, 11:30 UTC, 12:30 UK time in the F-14 going from Moffett Naval Air Station. I won't call it anything else because I always knew it as Moffett, and we are going to Homey, the area of it's the mythical area, if you know what I mean. Going to the area. So do join us for that. Should be a nice flight in the F-14. We'll put the Jolly Rogers livery on because, of course, that's what we like to fly in whenever possible. So do join us for that. Should be a fun flight. Now I just got to find a spot that has some folks standing by. I think I see, is that a... Is that one of those folks standing by with the pushback tug or something? It kind of looks like it. Let's see. Let's go over that way and see Somebody's waiting for us to park. I think so. Ta-da! Well, there we are. We'll come around and swing back around. Try not to hit the buildings there. But there's somebody there, so we will park right there. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. So despite the little hiccup we had, we made it. Thank you, Joseph. Appreciate it. Oops. Looks like we have to really cut the... It's a very difficult plane to steer, no doubt. We'll try to get as close to them as possible, within reason, of course. I don't know that it's going to be possible. We'll try our best here to park it somewhat decently. I guess airport security came out like, who are you? Why are you here? Alright, that should be good enough. Alright, let's go ahead and shut it down. I think I have to turn off the... Let's turn off the avionics. There we go. Got it. 2 hours and 24 minutes. Not too bad. Not too bad at all. And we still got the credit for the landing. That's good. Even though we stopped talking to ATC, that's all right. We went ahead and did what we had to do anyway. So yeah, we got it done in an hour quicker than expected, which is good. So it all worked out in the end. Anyways, that will be it for today, folks. I do appreciate everybody coming in, hanging out today. So hopefully you enjoyed the flight. I will see you all tomorrow, 7:30 Eastern. 11:30 UTC, 12:30 UK in the F-14. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday morning, afternoon, evening, early Thursday, possibly, wherever you are in the world. Until then, peace, live long and prosper.